Hi, my name is Clara Christian Mana. In here, I want to explain about neurolinguistic. In here, we can see my video. So we can go on for the first slide. The first slide is the question: What is neurolinguistic? Neurolinguistic is the study of how language is represented in the brain. So that means how and where our brain store our knowledge of the language and that we speak, like understand, read, and write, what happens in our brains as we acquire that knowledge, and what happens as we use it in our everyday lives. So, for the second slide, the question is what about our brains make human language possible? Certain parts of the brain are responsible for understanding words and sentences. And these brain areas are mainly located in two regions in the left side of the brain and are connected by nerves. Together, these brain regions and their connections form a network that provides the hardware for language in the brain. So we go to the third slide. The question is, what is about human brains that allow language to evolve in a way that it did not exist in other primates? So for this answer, what is it about human brains that allowed? So at some point, our brains became able to make our mouths produce vowels and consonant sound, and we will develop the capacity to invent words to name things around us. Can we go to the fourth question? Why is our communication system so elaborate and so different from that of other animals? Thus, the simple answer is human acquire language culturally words must be learned. So if someone asks you what separates human from other animals, one of the first things that would probably come to mind is language. Language is so fundamental to human life that it's hard to imagine what life would be like without it. In fact, the life would be like without it, an original term for language referred to it as part of the body language is derived from the Latin word lingua, meaning tongue. And so for other word highlights the inseparability of language from man when he say verbal communication is a condition of the existence of human society. For another important difference is that human language is culturally transmitted. Human beings grow up in different cultures, acquire different language. Men can also learn other language via like the influence of other cultures, and animals lack this capacity and their communication ability is transmit biological, so they are unable to learn other language. And human acquired language culturally words must be learned, so that means the way that animals communicate are biological or inborn. For human language can arrange words into an infinity number of ideas, and sometimes referred to as discrete infinity animals. Animals only have a limited number of communication they can use to communicate. So the Dutch language uses the same kind of neural computation as another cognitive system such as music or mathematics. So now research have found evidence that the processing of music and language do indeed depend on some of the same brain systems. So one brain system based on the temporal lobes helps humans memorize information in both language and music. For example, words and meaning in language and familiar melodies in music. So where in your brain as words you learn? How does a word come to mind when you need it? So that means we can using from visual cortex, like the visual word from area located in the left side of the visual cortex. It's like a dictionary for words, and it stores the visual representation of the letters making up thousands of words. So for that mean, for this all Neurolinguistic is the study of how language is present in the brain. That is, how and where our brains store our knowledge of the language or language that we speak, understand, read, and write. What happens in our brains as we acquire the knowledge, and what happens as we use in our everyday lives. Neurolinguistic try to answer questions like this. What about our brains makes human language possible? Why is our communication system so elaborate and so different from that of other animals? So this language uses the same kind of neural computation as another cognitive system. So if you know two languages, how do you switch between them and how do you keep them from interfering with each other? So if you learn two languages from birth, how is your brain different from the brain of someone who speaks one language and why? And so that's why is our communication system so elaborate and so different from the other animals. So that language use the same kind of neural computation as other cognitive systems, such as music or mathematics, where in your brain is so that we can learn and how does the word come to mind when we need and why does it sometimes come to you. So I think that's all my explanation about neurolinguistic. And thank you very much for watching and have a nice day. Thank you so much.